Most people waste years trying to make chickens work on their small farm. But here's what nobody tells you. Chickens aren't even in the top 5 for profitability, efficiency, or long-term value. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 animals that consistently outperform chickens in ways that actually matter: faster returns, higher income potential, and less daily stress. If you're serious about building a farm that supports your family without burning you out, you're in the right place. I share practical, no-nonsense farming strategies every single week, and subscribing means you'll always have reliable information when you need it. No searching, no guessing, just solid advice that shows up. I'm really glad you found this. Let's get into it. Quail are one of those animals most people overlook completely, and that's a massive mistake. They solve a problem that keeps small farmers stuck: limited space and painfully slow returns. The reason quail work so well is they actually respect how real life functions. You're not waiting 6 months for production to start. You're not dedicating half your backyard to housing. Quail mature in 6 to 8 weeks, lay protein-rich eggs daily, and thrive in spaces smaller than most people's closets. They don't demand perfect conditions or constant babysitting. They produce even on your busiest days, which is exactly why they're sustainable long-term. Starting with quail is simpler than you think. You need a basic cage setup and quality starter feed. That's it. If you've got a spare corner in your garage, a shed, or even a covered porch, you're already equipped. What you're actually doing day to day is maintaining clean water and collecting eggs each morning. There's no complicated optimization or endless troubleshooting, just straightforward care. To keep things running smoothly, focus on one single thing: check their water before breakfast. That's enough. Over time, this doesn't just add eggs to your kitchen, it fundamentally changes how your household operates. Less reliance on grocery stores, more autonomy over your food choices, and a genuine sense of control over what your family eats. Here's a small thing that makes the process even easier. Keep a bowl of grit available for your quail. You don't technically need it, but it improves their digestion and boosts egg quality noticeably. Now let's talk about what makes quail genuinely valuable for anyone serious about small-scale farming. A single breeding group, 1 male and 3 to 4 females, can produce up to 300 eggs per year. The space required? Smaller than a standard dog crate. Compare that to chickens, which need significantly more room and take 5 to 6 months just to reach laying age. Quail are production-ready in half that time. The eggs themselves are nutritional powerhouses. They pack more protein, vitamin B12, and iron than chicken eggs. They're also increasingly popular at farmers markets and specialty stores, which means higher demand and better prices. You can sell a dozen quail eggs for $5 to $8. That's double what chicken eggs bring in most markets. Same effort, double the profit margin. Faster return on investment, higher revenue per unit of work. Here's an advantage most people completely miss: noise and local regulations. Quail are nearly silent compared to roosters, which matters tremendously if you're in a suburban area with noise ordinances. Even better, many local zoning laws that restrict chickens don't even mention quail because they're classified differently. That means you can often raise them legally in places where chickens aren't allowed. You're not fighting your local government, you're working within the system. The feed-to-egg conversion ratio is remarkable too. Quail consume about 20 to 30 grams of feed daily per bird. That translates to roughly 1 pound of feed producing a dozen eggs. That efficiency means lower ongoing costs and more sustainable production, especially when feed prices spike, which they do regularly. For families focused on genuine food security, quail offers something unique: rapid scalability. If you need to increase production quickly, quail reach breeding age in just 6 weeks. That means you can go from a starter flock to a substantial egg operation in a single growing season. That's impossible with chickens or any larger livestock. The learning curve is gentle too. Quail are hardy birds with few health issues when kept clean and dry. They don't require vaccinations like chickens often do, and they're resistant to many common poultry diseases. That means less veterinary expense and fewer heartbreaking losses, especially for beginners. What really matters here is understanding that productive farming isn't about copying what everyone else does. It's about choosing animals that deliver the most value for your specific situation. Quail deliver that value quietly, consistently, and profitably. Rabbits solve a problem that hits every family's budget hard: expensive meat costs, and limited land. The reason rabbits work is brutally simple. They're the most efficient meat producers on the planet. One doe can produce over 200 pounds of healthy, lean meat per year using nothing but backyard space. They don't need pasture, heavy investment, or complicated veterinary care. They multiply quickly, which creates sustainable, ongoing production without constant reinvestment. To get started, you need basic hutches and a breeding trio. That's 1 buck and 2 does. If you have a small backyard or even a covered porch area, you're ready to begin. Daily management is straightforward. Feed pellets twice a day and clean hutches weekly. No optimization required, no overthinking necessary. To keep things running, focus on one thing. Monitor their water bottles each evening. That's sufficient. Over time, this doesn't just add meat to your freezer. It changes how your entire household feels. Less dependence on grocery stores, more productive use of small spaces, and genuine food security for your family. Here's something that makes this easier. Keep a small fan near the hutches during summer months. You don't absolutely need it, but rabbits are heat sensitive, and this simple step prevents losses during hot weather. Now let's talk about what makes rabbits exceptional for families serious about self-sufficiency. The feed conversion ratio is unmatched in livestock. Rabbits convert feed to meat at a 4-to-1 ratio. That means 4 pounds of feed produces 1 pound of meat. Compare that to cattle at 7-to-1 or pigs at 6-to-1. That efficiency translates directly to lower costs and faster financial. The meat itself is incredibly healthy, higher in protein, lower in fat and cholesterol than chicken, beef, or pork. For families concerned about heart health and nutrition, rabbit meat offers clean protein without the health concerns tied to commercial red meat. It's also naturally organic if you choose quality feed, giving you complete control over what your family consumes. Space efficiency is remarkable. A breeding trio needs roughly 12 square feet of hutch space total, yet can produce more meat annually than most families consume. You can run a complete meat operation in a standard garden shed or under a carport. No pasture required, no large barn needed. The breeding cycle is what creates real value here. Does can have litters every 30 days, with each litter averaging 6 to 8 kits. Those kits reach processing weight in just 8 to 12 weeks. That means from breeding to table in under 90 days, faster than chickens, infinitely faster than cattle or pigs. For families dealing with rising grocery costs, this matters enormously. A single breeding doe, properly managed, can produce 6 litters annually. At 7 kits per litter surviving to processing weight, that's 42 rabbits per doe. At an average processed weight of 3 pounds, one doe produces over 120 pounds of meat yearly. With 2 does, you're looking at 240 pounds, enough to feed a family of 4 several meals weekly. The financial math is genuinely compelling. Startup costs are minimal. Basic hutches, a breeding trio, and simple equipment run under $300. Feed costs are low because rabbits are efficient eaters. Many homesteaders supplement pellets with garden waste, grass clippings, and weeds, reducing feed costs even further. Processing is straightforward and can be done at home, eliminating expensive butcher fees. The pelts are a bonus income source if you choose to tan them. Plus, rabbit manure is absolute gold for gardens. It's the only livestock manure that can be applied directly to gardens without composting first, making it invaluable for vegetable production. Rabbits give families genuine control over their food supply without massive land or investment. They're quiet, productive, and sustainable, exactly what modern homesteaders need. Bees solve a quiet problem that most people don't even realize they have: low maintenance income and declining access to truly healthy food. The reason bees work so effectively is they're almost completely self-sufficient. One healthy hive produces 30 to 60 pounds of valuable honey annually, plus beeswax. Both are high-demand products with strong market prices. They don't need daily care, expensive feeds, or large property. They work while you sleep, which is exactly why they're genuinely life-changing for small farmers. To start, you need one starter hive kit and protective gear. If you have a sunny corner of your property away from foot traffic, you're ready. What you're doing is simply checking hive health every few weeks during active season. No optimization, no overthinking. To keep it going, focus on one thing: add honey supers when the hive expands. That's enough. Over time, this doesn't just improve your income potential, it fundamentally changes how your farm operates. Less active labor needed, more passive production, and sustainable wealth building for your family. Here's something that makes this easier. Plant wildflowers near your hives. You don't need to, but it increases honey production and hive health naturally. Now let's talk about what makes beekeeping exceptional for homesteaders focused on profitable farming. The return on investment is remarkable. A single hive costs roughly $150 to $300 to establish. That same hive can produce 30 to 60 pounds of honey in its first productive year. At current market rates of $8 to $12 per pound for raw, local honey, that's $320 to $720 in first-year revenue from one hive. The beauty is scalability with minimal time increase. Managing 10 hives takes only slightly more time than managing 2 because inspection schedules are the same. Experienced beekeepers often manage 20 to 30 hives while working full-time jobs. That's potential annual income of $6,000 to $20,000 from what's essentially a weekend hobby. Beyond honey, beeswax creates additional revenue streams. One hive produces 1 to 2 pounds of beeswax annually, worth $15 to $20 per pound. Beeswax products like candles, lip balms, and salves sell at premium prices. Many beekeepers find beeswax products more profitable than honey itself because of higher profit margins. For health-conscious families, raw, local honey offers benefits commercial honey simply cannot match. It contains natural enzymes, antioxidants, and trace amounts of local pollen that may help with seasonal allergies. Customers pay premium prices for these benefits, often double what grocery store honey costs. The health benefits extend to your entire property, too. Bees pollinate gardens, fruit trees, and crops, increasing yields substantially. Studies show properly pollinated gardens produce 30 to 50% more vegetables. That means bees pay for themselves through increased food production even before you harvest a single ounce of honey. Time investment is minimal compared to other livestock. Bees need inspection every 2 to 3 weeks during active season, taking roughly 30 minutes per hive. Outside active season, they're essentially maintenance-free. No daily feeding, no waste cleanup, no constant monitoring. They're the ultimate passive farming income. The learning curve is manageable too. Local beekeeping associations offer mentorship programs and online communities provide real-time support. Most beekeepers succeed because bees evolved to survive without human intervention. You're simply managing their productivity, not their existence. Climate adaptability is another major advantage. Honeybees thrive throughout the United States, from Florida to Alaska. Different bee varieties suit different climates, meaning successful beekeeping is possible regardless of your location. What really matters for families seeking sustainable income is this. Bees provide recurring revenue with minimal ongoing investment. They're the closest thing to passive income that farming offers, and they improve everything else you grow. If this is helping you see farming differently, hit that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with people who genuinely need practical farming advice. And I'm curious, which animal feels most realistic for your situation right now? Are you leaning toward quail for quick eggs, rabbits for meat production, or maybe bees for passive income? Drop it in the comments. I actually read every single one and genuinely love hearing what you're working on. Your experience might help someone else who's trying to decide where to start with their own small farm. Ducks solve a problem most people don't even realize they're dealing with: pest control and messy maintenance routines. They're more productive than chickens in ways that genuinely surprise people. The reason ducks work is straightforward. They're hardy, disease-resistant, and natural pest managers. They lay larger eggs with richer nutrition, control slugs and insects in gardens naturally, and thrive in diverse climates without complaint. They don't need perfect housing or complicated care routines. They adapt to real farm conditions, which is exactly why they're reliable long-term. To start, you need basic shelter and access to shallow water. If you have a kiddie pool or natural pond access, you're ready. What you're doing is simply providing feed and letting them forage your property. No optimization, no overthinking. To keep it going, focus on one thing: change their water source weekly. That's enough. Over time, this doesn't just improve egg production, it changes how your garden functions. Fewer pests naturally, more integrated farming systems, and genuine harmony between animals and plants. Here's something that makes this easier. Use straw bedding instead of shavings. You don't need to, but ducks are messy with water, and straw handles moisture significantly better. Now let's talk about what makes ducks valuable for homesteaders looking beyond chickens. Duck eggs are significantly larger and richer than chicken eggs, with more protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and a creamier texture that bakers absolutely love. They sell for premium prices, often $5 to $7 per dozen, compared to $3 to $4 for chicken eggs. That higher price point means better returns from the same daily effort. The laying consistency is remarkable too. While chickens often slow or stop laying during winter months, many duck breeds continue producing through cold weather with minimal light supplementation. That means year-round income when chicken keepers see revenue drop to zero. For families relying on egg sales, this consistency matters enormously. Pest control is where ducks truly shine. They're voracious slug and snail eaters, making them perfect for vegetable gardens. Unlike chickens, which scratch and disturb plant roots, ducks waddle gently between rows, eating pests without damaging crops. Many gardeners report 50 to 70% reductions in slug damage after introducing ducks. The Japanese have used ducks in rice paddies for centuries because they eat weeds and pests while fertilizing crops simultaneously. American permaculture farmers are rediscovering this ancient wisdom, integrating ducks into garden systems for chemical-free pest management. That means healthier food and lower input costs. Hardiness is another significant advantage. Ducks are remarkably cold-tolerant and resistant to common poultry diseases that devastate chicken flocks. They don't need heated coops or expensive medications. Their oil-coated feathers provide natural insulation, and they're generally healthier than chickens with less veterinary intervention needed. For families in wet climates, ducks thrive where chickens struggle. They don't develop respiratory issues in damp conditions, and they actually prefer weather that keeps chickens huddled inside. That means consistent production regardless of precipitation. Water requirements are simpler than most people think. Ducks don't need ponds or large water features. A simple kiddie pool changed twice weekly provides everything they need for health and happiness. That makes duck keeping accessible even in suburban settings. The social dynamics are calmer too. While roosters crow loudly and can be aggressive, male ducks are quieter and generally gentler. That means fewer neighbor complaints and safer interactions for children helping with farm chores. Feed efficiency is comparable to chickens, but ducks supplement heavily through foraging. A flock given yard access will consume significant insects, grass, and weeds, reducing purchased feed costs. Many duck keepers report 20 to 30% lower feed bills compared to confined chickens. Meat production is a bonus consideration. Duck meat is prized in American restaurants, especially for Asian and French cuisine. If you choose meat breeds, you can harvest ducks at 8 to 12 weeks for premium-priced meat while maintaining layers for eggs. What really matters is this. Ducks deliver multiple benefits simultaneously: eggs, pest control, fertilizer, and meat, while being hardier and more disease-resistant than chickens. They're the practical choice for farmers wanting more value from their poultry flock. Goats solve a problem that costs families thousands every year: land management expenses and expensive dairy products. They create multiple income streams from a single investment. The reason goats work is elegance itself. They're multi-purpose and incredibly efficient. They produce healthy milk, control brush and weeds naturally, and their offspring create renewable income. They don't need massive pastures or complex veterinary care. They work as both productive animals and land managers, which is exactly why they're valuable. To start, you need secure fencing and basic mineral supplements. If you have a quarter acre of rough land, you're ready. What you're doing is simply rotating grazing areas and milking consistently. No optimization, no overthinking. To keep it going, focus on one thing: trim hooves every 6 to 8 weeks. That's enough. Over time, this doesn't just improve land health, it fundamentally changes how your farm operates. Less brush clearing needed, more self-sufficient dairy options, and productive use of terrain that would otherwise sit unused. Here's something that makes this easier. Get wethers first to learn goat behavior. You don't need to, but it reduces the learning curve significantly before investing in breeding stock. Now let's talk about what makes goats exceptional for homesteaders seeking profitable, practical livestock. Milk production is remarkable. A single Nigerian dwarf or La Mancha doe produces 2 to 3 quarts of milk daily during peak lactation. That's roughly 700 to 1,000 quarts annually from one animal. At current prices of $8 to $12 per gallon for raw goat milk, that's potential revenue of $1,400 to $3,000 per doe yearly. The milk itself is easier to digest than cow milk because of smaller fat globules, making it valuable for people with dairy sensitivities. It's naturally homogenized and higher in calcium, vitamin A, and beneficial fatty acids. For health-conscious consumers, these benefits command premium prices. Beyond drinking milk, goat milk creates high-value products. Goat milk soap sells for $8 to $12 per bar. Cheese, especially cheddar, brings $15 to $20 per pound. Lotions and skincare products command similar premium prices. Land management value is often overlooked, but significant. Goats are browsers, not grazers. They prefer weeds, brush, and invasive plants over grass. They'll clear blackberry thickets, poison ivy, and overgrown fence lines that would cost thousands to remove mechanically. Fire prevention is a real benefit in many states. Goats reduce undergrowth and create natural fire breaks, potentially qualifying for property insurance discounts or government brush clearing programs. The reproductive cycle creates ongoing income. Does typically kid once yearly, producing 1 to 3 kids per pregnancy. Those kids can be sold as breeding stock for $200 to $500 each, or as meat for $150 to $300. A small herd of 3 does can generate $3,000 to $6,000 in kid sales annually. Meat markets are expanding too. Goat meat is the most consumed meat globally, and American ethnic communities create steady demand. Whole kids sell for premium prices during religious holidays, with some bringing over $300.
Space efficiency surprises most people. Goats need roughly 200 square feet per animal, far less than cattle or horses. A quarter acre can comfortably support 4 to 5 goats, producing significant milk and meat while improving land condition. That makes goat keeping viable even on small suburban properties. Feed costs are manageable because goats are efficient browsers. They thrive on roughage that other livestock won't touch. Supplemental grain is minimal, especially during growing season when forage is abundant. Many goat keepers report feed costs of just $50 to $75 monthly for a small herd. The personality factor matters too. Goats are intelligent, social, and genuinely entertaining. They bond with owners and provide real companionship beyond their productive value. For families transitioning to farm life, goats offer emotional rewards that make the work feel meaningful. What really matters for families is this: goats provide milk, meat, land management, and renewable income from one manageable animal. They turn rough land into profit while giving families control over dairy quality and food security. Here's something most small farmers miss, and it matters more than adding another animal to your property. Instead of trying to raise everything at once, start with one species and master it for a full year. That single focus often makes your entire farm feel easier without creating more effort or overwhelm. Here's why this approach works better than diversifying immediately. Each animal species has unique needs, behaviors, and seasonal patterns you only learn through direct experience. Rushing to add multiple species means spreading your attention thin and making costly mistakes across everything simultaneously. But when you focus on one species for 12 complete months, you develop genuine expertise. You learn their health signals, breeding cycles, and profitable timing. That knowledge becomes permanent and transferable. The financial benefit is significant too. Mastering one species means fewer losses, better production rates, and higher quality output that commands premium prices. You'll avoid expensive beginner mistakes because you've already made them and learned from them with your first species. When you do add a second species, you're adding from a position of confidence and stable income rather than stretched resources and constant stress. Think of it this way. A farm with one highly productive, well-managed species is more profitable and less stressful than a farm with 5 species all struggling because attention is divided. Your goal isn't collecting animals like trophies. It's building sustainable, profitable systems that support your family long-term. Pick the species that best matches your property, time availability, and market opportunity. Give it your full attention for one complete cycle. Learn everything about health management, breeding, housing, and marketing. Then, with that foundation solid, you can confidently add your second species knowing you've already proven you can succeed. This approach builds wealth steadily rather than creating overwhelming chaos that burns you out before you see real results.
You don't need to transform your entire property overnight. You just need one steady choice that works. Pick one animal from today's video and start small this season, imperfectly. That's how real self-sufficiency actually begins. Whether it's quail for fast returns and tight spaces, rabbits for efficient meat production, bees for passive income, ducks for integrated pest control, or goats for dairy and land management, each choice moves you toward greater food security and financial independence. Remember that profitable farming isn't about following trends or copying what everyone else does. It's about choosing animals that work with your specific situation, your space, your time, your local market. These 5 animals consistently outperform chickens in value, efficiency, or multiple income streams. They're proven choices for families serious about building sustainable, productive farms. If you want more calm, practical farming ideas like this, subscribe to SproutCycle Garden. This channel is for people who want to build sustainable, productive homesteads without pressure, noise, or constant overwhelm. Every week I share strategies that help your farm feel more intentional, more profitable, and more aligned with the life you actually want to live. Thanks for spending this time here.